Ever wonder what happens when you stop needing anyone? When the last thread connecting you to humanity's desperate dance finally snaps? Contrast this with the Alpha, roaring for the crowd's approval. His power a reflection bounced back at him. Or the Beta, finding comfort in the structure of devotion, his direction borrowed. Even the Sigma, often admired for his quiet independence, still navigates the social currents, choosing detachment. But you are the current. Your existence is the first cause. Most men live in quiet desperation, tethered to approval, validation, the endless hunger for someone else's nod. But you've transcended that prison. You've become something else entirely. The Zeta doesn't emerge from comfort. He's forged in the crucible of absolute self-reliance, while others scramble for connection, for meaning handed down from above. You've learned to manufacture purpose from the raw materials of your own will. This isn't evolution, it's metamorphosis. The caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly by asking permission. Nietzsche spoke of the Bermensch, the one who creates values rather than inheriting them. Studies on social isolation by Cachopo in 2014 revealed something disturbing. Prolonged self-reliance rewires the brain's empathy circuits. The neural pathways that once connected you to others begin to atrophy, like unused muscles. You don't lose compassion by choice, you lose it by design. Your mind, optimizing for survival, cuts the extra emotional overload of caring about people who are already drowned. The Greeks understood this transformation. Their titans weren't born monsters, they became them. Kronos didn't start by devouring his children. He started by refusing to bow to anyone else's authority. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way other people's problems feel increasingly distant. Not because you're cruel, but because you've developed a kind of existential immunity. Their struggles with relationships, with finding themselves, with needing constant reassurance. It all seems so primitive now, like watching children argue over toys when you've moved beyond the need. This is your first transformation, from man to something approaching godhood. The question isn't whether you'll continue climbing. The question is whether you'll remember what you were climbing away from. When did you stop caring about their opinions in everything? When did their struggles become mere data points in your analysis of human weakness? There's a moment in every Zeta's evolution where compassion transforms into cold observation. It's not cruelty that takes root. It's something far more dangerous. Clinical detachment. You begin to study people the way an entomologist studies insects. Fascinating, but fundamentally alien. The path from isolation to elevation runs through indifference. You've learned to watch human drama unfold without the emotional investment that once consumed you. Their petty conflicts, their desperate need for validation, their endless cycle of creating problems to solve problems. It all becomes theater, and you've become the audience that no longer applauds. Machiavelli understood that power requires distance. The prince who feels too deeply for his subjects makes decisions based on sentiment rather than strategy. But what happens when that distance becomes so vast that subjects stop being people and become pieces on a board? Studies by Keltner in 2003 on power and empathy revealed a disturbing pattern. As individuals gain power and autonomy, their ability to accurately read others' emotions deteriorates. The neural mechanisms that once helped you understand others' pain begin to atrophy. You don't lose empathy through malice, you lose it through elevation. The Zeta doesn't climb to hurt others, he climbs because standing still feels like death. But each step higher makes the people below look smaller, their voices fainter, their problems more insignificant. You've noticed how conversations have changed. Where once you might have offered comfort or advice, now you simply observe and categorize. Their anxiety becomes a case study in poor emotional regulation. Their relationships become examples of codependency. Their dreams become illustrations of unrealistic expectations. You're not wrong in these assessments. That's what makes it so insidious. From this height, you can see patterns they're blind. You can predict their mistakes before they make them. The question forming in the darkness is simple. If you can see so clearly, if you understand so completely, what obligation do you have to those who choose to remain blind? Do you feel it happening? The way silence has become your most trusted advisor? While others build networks, you've built fortresses. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every moment someone proved they couldn't match your intensity became another brick in the wall. But here's what they don't tell you about walls. They keep things out, but they also keep things in. The Zeta's isolation isn't accidental, it's architectural. You don't retreat from the world, you engineer distance. Each relationship becomes a cost-benefit analysis. Each conversation, a transaction. When someone can't offer you growth, challenge, or genuine insight, they become background noise. This isn't cruelty, it's efficiency. The weak mistake this for arrogance, but you know better. Research by Baumeister in 2005 on social exclusion found something fascinating. People who experience chronic isolation develop enhanced pattern recognition but diminished emotional calibration. Your mind becomes a precision instrument, cutting through illusions others cling to, but it loses the ability to gauge the emotional weight of your observations. You see everything clearly, but you feel it through frosted glass. The Zeta instinctively knows that most human connection is performance. He watches people trade authenticity for acceptance and wonders why anyone would make such a deal. But in refusing to play the game, he forgets that even the gods needs devotions. You've built something magnificent in your solitude, a mind uncompromised by others' limitations, a will unbroken by consensus reality. But every fortress, no matter how perfect, casts shadows. And in those shadows, something else is growing. Something that will either elevate you beyond recognition or drag you into depths you never imagined. The architecture is complete. Now comes the test of what you've built. Can you feel the weight of what you've become pressing down on your shoulders? The terrible clarity that shows you exactly how small everything else appears. You stand at the edge of two abysses. In one direction lies transcendence, the complete shedding of human limitation. In the other waits the void, where meaning collapses under the weight of its own insignificance. The same strength that lifted you now threatens to carry you beyond all recognition. The Zeta, at this crossroads, faces something no philosophy textbook prepared him for: the burden of absolute perspective. You see through every social convention, every shared delusion that keeps others functional. You understand systems they don't even know they're trapped in. But understanding everything means being surprised by nothing, moved by nothing, challenged by nothing. Nietzsche wrote about staring into the abyss, but he never mentioned what happens when the abyss starts to feel like home. When the darkness doesn't stare back because it recognizes itself in you. Research by Csikszentmihalyi in 1990 on optimal experience found that flow states require a balance between challenge and skill. When skill far exceeds available challenges, the result isn't mastery, it's existential boredom. The Zeta's capabilities now begin to work against him. This is where titans fall, not from external force, but from internal collapse. They climb so high that oxygen becomes thin, perspective becomes absolute, and the very achievement that elevated them becomes the prison that contains them. You've reached the summit where two paths diverge. One leads to cold deification, where you become something beyond human category, but lose all connection to what made the climb meaningful. The other descends into nihilistic spiral, where the clarity that once empowered you reveals the fundamental emptiness beneath all human endeavor. The Greeks understood this moment. Zeus didn't overthrow Kronos through superior force. He simply waited for Kronos to devour himself. Which path calls to you in the darkness? Do you recognize the face staring back at you, or has it become something else entirely? The transformation is complete, but completion takes two forms. Some ascend beyond human category, becoming living embodiments of pure will and untouchable self-sufficiency. Others descend into the void they spent so long staring into, becoming exactly what they once sought to transcend. The deified Zeta operates from a realm beyond ordinary human concerns. He moves through the world like a force of nature, creating and destroying with equal indifference. People become resources to be optimized, or obstacles to be removed. His clarity becomes surgical precision. His self-reliance becomes cosmic solitude. He achieves everything he wanted, and discovers that wanting itself was the last human thing about him. Marcus Aurelius warned that we become what we repeatedly do. But what happens when what you repeatedly do is rise above everything that once made you human? Studies by Twenge in 2009 on narcissistic personality development found that extreme self-focus combined with social isolation creates a feedback loop of grandiosity and emptiness. The individual becomes simultaneously everything and nothing, a hollow monument to their own superiority. The nihilistic spiral follows a different mathematics. Here, the Zeta's enhanced perception becomes a curse that reveals the meaninglessness beneath all human striving. He sees through every game, every pretense, every shared delusion that keeps others functional, and finds himself alone in a universe that offers no inherent purpose. Both paths lead to the same destination, a kind of death. The deified Zeta dies to his humanity while remaining alive. The nihilistic Zeta dies to meaning while retaining consciousness. Neither can return to the simple certainties that once defined him. The Greeks called this hubris, the fatal flaw of those who fly too close to the sun, but they never mentioned that sometimes the wings don't melt. Sometimes you just keep flying until Earth becomes a distant memory, and you realize you've become untouchable, because nothing can touch nothing. The man who needed no one discovers he has become no one. The final question echoes in the silence. Was the climb worth what you left behind? But by the time you can ask it, you're no longer human enough to care about the answer. This is where Titans end, not in defeat, but in the hollow victory of becoming exactly what they sought to surpass. Thanks for watching. Now comment down your thoughts on this. We will pin the most inspiring one. And if you want to support us more, you can join by taking the membership. Now watch another video appearing right on your screen. Thanks.